Good day, this is Pepli the yoga. So roll out your mat and let's get on top of it. So thunderbolt pose into the mat and then just stretch out your arms up to the ceiling, to the back, down, and then repeat them. And then you're just gonna try stretch your shoulders to the back so that you can get that nice stretch in your shoulders. And we all know that tension and the knots that our shoulders succumb to. So if you have no one who's gonna physically massage your shoulders, or you don't afford a spa, best believe the stretch. From there, I'm gonna do the cat-cow pose. Also, this stretches your back, your spine, your whole spine, all the way from your neck to your lumbar spine. All right, slow, steady movement. When you arch your back, make sure you arch it all the way up. And also, when you make a curve, make sure that when you drop all the way down, just to get that nice stretch in your lower back. And then from there, I'm gonna go into my child pose. And also, when you are not stretched enough or flexible enough, you will notice that your buttocks fail to lie on your ankles. So on some days when you are really stiff, you will struggle to rest your buttocks on your ankles. But on some days, it will be easier for you to just put all the whole weight of your buttocks into your ankles. And then from there, from my child pose, I'm gonna do thread and needle pose with one arm facing up to the roof, and then from there I'm gonna just rest it on the mat under my armpit or under my chest area. This also stretches your back, but most especially targets your shoulder and your upper arm. And also, we hardly ever stretch our upper body and our hands enough. So if you want to get that nice stretch into your shoulders and into your upper arms, you have to try the thread and needle math yoga pose. So here I am also getting that nice stretch, making sure that I let go of all the knots that are there in my shoulders, and also the tension that we tend to neglect, that it's stored into our upper arms from all the daily tasks that we do, heavy lifting and everything. And then now I'm into the puppy pose. And then the puppy pose also is distributed as it stretches mainly your chest area, your rib cage, your lungs, and also your lower back. And then from my puppy pose, I'm turning into the pigeon pose. And also, if you don't have a timer that you're using when you're stretching, just to make sure that you're getting sufficient stretches equally on opposite sides, on your left and right, make sure you count to a certain number that you feel comfortable with. For me, I count from 1 to 10, on some days 1 to 30 on each side. So here I am counting from 1 to 10 when I'm doing my pigeon poses. And also my counts are like slow and steady. I don't go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, or like in the speed of second. I tend to go slower, like 1, 2, like every after a deep breath I go, every after an inhale I start. All right, so here I am doing a variation of a pigeon pose. At first my elbows were rested on the mat, and then the second time they are like my hands are straight up. And then here on my cobra pose, now I am standing on my toes and my knees are floating. My whole lower body is not touching the mat. Okay, so also this stretches your lower back and also your hamstrings. And from here I am resting my dorsal surface of my feet on the mat, but also my knees are still floating, they are not touching the mat. This is also another variation of a cobra pose. And then when I am done, the last pose will be I will finally rest my knees now on the yoga mat. So this is just different levels of the same pose, with the touching the mat with your knees and your dorsal surface of your feet being the less severe one, and then the floating being the hardest one. All right, but all in all, they get the job done. You get that nice stretch in your lower back, in your spine, and also in your upper back. And then again, I'm on to my child pose. And if you can notice from the difference from now and the child pose that I did before, is now my body's, the tension is loosened up and I've stretched a bit, and my buttocks are now closer a bit to my ankles. You'll start seeing that these differences the more you stretch, on how your body reacts on some days, and then on the days you are more stiff, on the days, yes. And then after that, I'm attempting the pigeon pose on the opposite limb. Like I said on the previous one, I started with both my elbows rested on the mat. This is the variation of the pigeon pose that I did. And also this also helps with flexibility in your lower limbs, all right? And then from there, I'm doing another variation of this pigeon pose where my arms and elbows are no longer rested on the mat, but instead, like, I'm standing upright with my arms. All right, getting that nice deep stretch into your thigh muscles and into also your knees. All right, and also your lower back. And then again, from my pigeon pose that I'm attempting in this pose, I am gonna move up and then go again into my favorite yoga pose. Thunderbolt pose is my favorite pose. So here I am again, the thunderbolt pose. This one, my ankles, my thighs, and I just feel like one with myself. Like I feel in unity with myself when I do this yoga pose. It is actually my favorite, and I like it because I can also be able to drink my favorite teas while I am seated in this yoga pose. You can hold it for 5 minutes and have your favorite drink. And then again, here I am, and I'm just gonna try, with my knees rested on my mat, I'm gonna try reach for my hands at the back, stretching my lower back, my abdominal muscles, and then you're just gonna drop your arms as back as you possibly can. And also, depending on your flexibility, this will be different for person to person. And then again, on my thunderbolt pose, again from that pose, here I am in my favorite pose. It's also a resting pose, but also your muscles are still engaged and you're still stretching most of your muscles, even if it doesn't look like it. A thunderbolt pose, it's a very active pose. And then again, I'm gonna attempt to reach to my back, so that my arms are trying to be in parallel with my knees again. So also, like I said, the angle is gonna be different according to our levels of flexibility. People who are more flexibility can be able to point downwards from that pose. And then again into my thunderbolt pose again, just resting my buttocks on that ankle, stretching those ankles, and also those thigh muscles, and just being in unity with myself, enjoying the time, embracing the beauty of having time to actually roll out a mat, because it is a privilege to have time to do the things you love and to move your body in this very busy world we live in. And another thing, a variation of a thunderbolt pose, and then do not try this one if your level of flexibility is still very beginner. So if you trust yourself, you're just gonna drop your head to the mat, and also make sure you don't drop it all at once. You drop it steady, like steady slow movements. All right, and then it's also another variation of a thunderbolt pose, and this is a pose that when you know how to do it, it feels like such a relief to your body. Like it feels good to do it, like you feel the difference in your body instantly. Like instantly you can tell the change from just doing that one pose alone. And then again, from doing that, I'm just gonna sit on the mat, my legs stretch out, and I'm gonna rest my knees in my head in between my knees, and then I'm gonna flex my toes towards my head and make sure I get a full body stretch all the way from my toes, my lower legs, my hamstrings, and my whole spine and neck. So this is a full body stretch. That exercise is a full body stretch, and you also feel the relief, and you also feel the tension leaving your body when you are doing it. You can hear that tension that was stored, especially in your hamstring, just going away. And then this is again is just another variation of that pose. So here instead of flexing your toes, you extend them. So you focus on the dorsal surface of your foot. You get that stretch nice and even on your feet. And then you can just move your feet in circles to get that nice stretch in your ankles. So you're just gonna make small circles in both limbs. And then from here, when you are done, you're just gonna also do this pose where you are like the balance here, the body weight of your body is mainly going to your shoulders. All right, and then you can use your hands to balance yourself on your with your on the mat as if you're making a column, and then you can just float your feet in the air if you have the adequate balance, or you can drop the feet to the mat like I am doing. All right, and then I'm also gonna do variation of the same pose where I'm just gonna bend my knees and rest my knees on my forehead. And also, I don't know how to say this, but this pose feels like you are giving a hug to yourself, sort of like you are hugging yourself, because this is the closest your knees and your head are in the same position. All right, and also because I haven't done this pose in a long time, I struggle to rest my knees at the same time in the yoga mat, but nonetheless this was a beautiful stretch. I loved it and I felt the differences instantly, and I hope you guys try this stretch for yourself at your home and let me know how it goes. Thank you. Bye.